so I can tweet it out.
We're live.
Hello.
No one's here.
Watching on catch up. All right, no one's here, but we're gonna get them here.
Okay, they can come
I'm
here.
gonna use my technology to try and get it out.
Well, if not, we can just
We'll figure it out.
carry on.
Yeah, we can, but we'll give it a minute. Let's see. Are we showing up in the subscriptions? Yep. Look at that. Hey! That's us. So share. All right, tweet. Oh, someone's watching. Hello.
Hello, hi.
Person.
Oh,
Non-Geo. Our number one
We're
fan.
glad to have you. We're so glad to have you.
How's it going? Okay, let's see. I'm tweeting it out. Sorry, Non-Geo.
She's tweeting it out. How was the store, Non-Geo?
It's Liberlol, feminism is misogyny, right?
Yes.
God damn.
Lesbian TV is here.
What up?
Hi, Lesbian
I hung out with
TV.
her last week.
Awesome.
Good to see you again. Virtually, darling. Let's see. I don't know why it's not. I don't. All right, there we go. Tweet. All right, if they don't see that, that's their tough shit.
That's okay. Actually.
Yes, let's play a song.
We're taking requests. Everyone.
Any requests?
What is wrong with you? Maybe it's running out of batteries. Did you hear that feedback? Oh, it's gone. There we go. It's that song I was singing from. Hey, Green Party Red Fem's here. Great to have ya. I don't know that song. I'm sorry.
Fuck your hipster bullshit.
I'm so sorry. I don't know that song. Any other requests?
Do you have any requests that maybe not so esoteric? Okay, we got 4 viewers.
That's a great number.
4 is a good place. It's stable.
It is stable.
Should we go forward from 4?
Sure.
Forward. Hector Solo.
Sorry, sweetheart.
Look at all these nerds up in here.
My head. But I can play. That was the beginning was right. Actually, we shouldn't play that because that might be copyrighted. So that was just random notes that I was playing, and they weren't in any popular movie at all.
Weren't they pretty?
At any time, ever.
Don't come after us.
So, today, we're going to talk about why liberal feminism isn't feminism, and it's hurting women.
Yeah.
I wrote down, we usually write down like bullet points we're going to go over, and I titled it Dick Worship. So, you know,
yes.
Liberal feminism, you can also call it dick worship because that's what it is.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Regardless of what community it's taking place in.
So
where should we begin? Should I start with that piece?
It's up to you. I'm just going to put this down where you can read it. It's up to you.
So just to like start and to name what we're going to talk about, I want to kind of bring about an understanding of how liberal feminism seeks to depoliticize feminism. Within the liberal framework, women's choices get reduced to like an apolitical sort of choice as opposed to like understanding our choices politically.
Right.
The basic feminist principle of the personal is political is totally removed. So any criticism of personal choices, you know, these political choices that women make in, you know, the context of a patriarchy get turned into apolitical choices made about aesthetics or taste or just like what someone likes, as opposed to like understanding where they come from, why they exist, why so many women are involved in them. Where am I going with this?
Well, with that, it's like you can't. So with Liberlol feminism, women's choices, all women's choices, no matter what they are all deemed valid, are all valued, and that's not how we fucking make progress, you idiots. You can't be. Don't go like changing your name to your husband's name when you have, you know, ample, like, great work experience, fucking great education, a great job, and then you're just going to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, yeah, if that's what you want to do, okay, I'm not going to stop you, but you're, like, disrespecting other women by doing that. And, I mean, maybe you're not disrespecting other women by doing that, but, like, that's worth criticizing. Women are worth criticizing, and you just not criticize each other. You know, it's dumb to just say, oh, well, she can wear heels. Oh, well, she can just have 10 kids by 10 different men. Ooh. Oh, well, she can be a frickin', you know, just dumb shit. You can't.
I mean, we come across this with like responses to our videos on makeup and femininity.
Absolutely.
That's a big place where it takes, a big
absolutely
example of how it takes place. Femininity needs to be critiqued and understood in the context of women's oppression, and that's what feminism seeks to eliminate. So for it to be depoliticized as a phenomenon is a problem. So yeah, like you were saying, all choices are considered basically to be equally valid. If they're all equally valid, they all have the same value and context of patriarchy. So essentially what liberal feminism does is it makes all women's choices apolitical, and there's nothing you can really do to resist. That's the flip side of it. Yeah, so how do you resist when nothing matters?
When nothing matters and everything is totally cool. And, like, I give women shit as frequently as I possibly can about shaving. And they're like, oh, well, it's okay if you don't want to shave, and it's okay if I do shave. No!
It's not okay.
No, it isn't. And no, it's not okay that I shave because I'm fucking... It's not okay that I don't shave because I'm fucking... turning shit around. I'm stirring the pot. That upsets people. And that's good, and that's what we want. But these women are like, oh no, it's okay, do whatever you want. It's so, like, infantilizing. Women infantilize each other for you know, to maintain the status quo. And it needs to fucking stop already.
Well, that's another thing of it. Like, I think it feeds into our feminine socialization. Women don't know how to take or give criticism. Period. It's a real problem. Criticism is seen as like an attack a lot of the time.
Right.
Or an insult. But like it's a sign of respect if someone comes to you with a valid criticism. Or like wanting to understand why you're making the choices that you make. It's like actually a sign of respect. But women just shut that shit down.
because they want to be babied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's that whole, like, well, fairy tale phenomenon of wanting to maintain the being asleep when they marry young. Yes, that's another example of shit women shouldn't do.
Gross.
Yeah, and also child marriage is such a big thing around the world, too. Like, if you can avoid getting married in your teens, you should. Or even in your early 20s.
Yeah, that's really messed up. I've never, ever understood that.
Mm-hmm. Why should we respect other and support other women's choices if their choices are directly harming themselves and other women? And I think the thing is, too, femininity oppresses not only, like, yourself through doing it to yourself, but it oppresses other women. It's a part of how women participate in the whole social hierarchy. So if you're choosing to feminize yourself, you're choosing to put yourself in a position above other women that don't. And then oftentimes, I mean, one of the biggest red flags for me when I'm dealing with, like, a woman is how feminine is she. Like, generally, if she's hyper feminine, I can expect at some point she's going to have some either level of cruelty to her, or she's very likely going to be invested in breaking female spirit. I actually had this with a couple of mothers this week who were attacking me on Facebook.
Feces book.
For no reason.
I didn't hear about this. What happened?
It was something to do with, like, women were sharing this quote from this man who's an asshole, who I've talked about. Doesn't really matter, okay? Men are full of shit, and women need to stop praising men and, like, sharing men's fucking, like, words with other women as if they have more validity than women's words.
Right.
Just because a man is anti-porn, supposedly, who the fuck really knows, right? But, like, just because he's anti-porn does not mean he has anything interesting to say about it to women. Go talk to other men about pornography. Don't tell me about pornography.
We need you. Men need you. You need to, if you really want to get your point across, if you really want to make a difference, go fucking talk to men about it.
Yeah, so that we don't have to. But yeah, when I see men, like, lecturing me about pornography. Anyway, this guy has pulled some shit in the community over the years, and he's also just a man, so I generally have a feeling of animosity towards him. Obvi. So, like, I stated this. He didn't really do anything to me personally, but I've seen him do it to other women specifically. And I also have heard other women complain about him. So my principle as a feminist is that I believe women, right, when they tell me a man has done something fucky to them.
Right.
I don't really care who they are. If they tell me about a man, you know, or they say that a man did something that made them uncomfortable, that fucked with them in some way, I believe them.
Yeah. Duh.
I believe, and I posted a status on my wall that said, I believe women, right? Because I was like, I was annoyed with that way. Like, I just said, he's a prick. And I was, had these women, like, coming in to shut me down because happens to be the son of a feminist in the community.
Oh, no.
And so this is the way that, like, the bizarre cult of motherhood works, right? They think that by insulting their progeny, you're somehow insulting their skills as a mother. Whereas I don't believe that mothers are responsible for their adult children.
No.
So it has no reflection on her, although she's fucky as well, obviously. But, like, because she still worships her little penis baby. But, like, you know, like, this, even though he's, like, an adult. And apparently there's another one of them out there running around, like, mansplaining feminism. But, like, you know what I mean? So a mother came on my wall who was on that conversation and was like, unless they're mothers, then they can kick rocks. And it's funny because on that status, my mother actually defended me. She responded to the woman like, sorry you feel that way.
Wow. Well, that's
and then another one of my friends who's a mother also was like, Terry's never invalidated me about anything like that a man has done to me.
Yeah. What? So.
Nor would I.
They just wanted to whine.
They want to whine at me.
They wanted to whine at you when you didn't do anything to them personally.
No, they just don't like my opinions and that I express them. But they're all very hyper feminine, long hair, makeup, the nines. All right. And it's just, if
you have hyper femininity, if you're wearing slave paint, if you're wearing dumbass fucking clothing, if you fucking straighten your hair, dye your hair, all those dumb fucking colors, you automatically don't respect yourself and you're broadcasting that to the world. And when I see you and you're wearing that shit, I'm like, you don't respect yourself, so how can I respect you?
And I'm also thinking, like, when is this woman going to pull some hyper feminine, like, bullshit where she's pulling rank? Because that's what they do. They pull rank.
Oh, yeah, pull rank.
Or,
you
like,
insult someone's
appearance, you know? Or to other women, too, because I don't get it as bad as some other women do. Like, but I care.
Right.
You know, I'm against these sorts of behaviors. Practicing femininity is a good indication that a woman is living femininely, is acting femininely. And femininity, like, it's always treated as this passive sort of benign thing. It's not.
Mm-mm.
The flip side of it is female torture, female masochism. Mothers who, like, feminize their daughters are putting them through the same rituals of female spirit breaking. So you need to be very critical. When you see a woman looking to come at you hyper feminine, who's a feminist, just watch out.
She's not a real feminist.
No, you're in for some serious mind fucking.
Go ahead and come at me, bitch.
Because she's mind fucking herself. Her behavior, her appearance is totally negating her politics, right?
Totally negating.
So what Green Party Rad Femme is talking about, mothers that are disappointed when they have daughters instead of sons, and those same mothers hate raising girls. You've heard that at work. Yeah, I mean, that attitude is prevalent. The girls are so much more difficult. And I think it's mainly because they know they're going to have to torture their daughters at some point in order to get them to be normal and to fit in with the patriarchal system.
Right, they have to, like...
They're like, oh, I have to break this one's spirit.
They have to break their spirit. They have to funnel them into the process of patriarchy, of forced femininity. And that's really hard because no one fucking wants to go there. Okay? No one does. I didn't. No girl wants to go there. No girl wants to be forced to do femininity, wants to be forced into these behaviors. And I feel like that's one reason why we have two twins is, like, girls, like, get how much being a woman sucks. That's why I'm so fucking glad I saw Titanic when I was 7, because that whole movie is about how much it sucks to be a woman. And fucking seriously, that whole movie that's what it's all about. And, like, Rose basically is, like, choosing suicide over living a life of wealth in capitalism.
Yeah.
She would rather die than go on and live like her fucking mother. And I saw that. I was lucky enough to see that in a theater twice. My 7-year-old brain wasn't like, this is about patriarchy and femininity. I was just like, interesting. Mm-hmm. And I got it.
Thanks, James Cameron.
Love you. Let's hang.
MD.
You're my guy.
She loves us. I like Titanic because, like, it really, as a young woman, let's just say Leo awakened a lot of feelings for young girls. And not for me particularly. I wasn't interested in him. But when I played with other girls, they wanted me to be Leo. And I got a lot of kisses. So I want to thank you, Leo, for getting me lots of kisses.
That's sweet.
What was that? I think it was 6th grade that it came out for me. So,
1997.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's not cute. He's repulsive, but I don't know.
I thought he was okay.
He had a nice bowl cut. Yeah, I really liked his hair.
After that, I mean, he's not ugly. He's just not my cup of tea.
No.
Hi, MD. Great to have you here. Great to see ya. Love your vids. Other girls wanting you to be the boy. Relatable feels, says Lesbian TV.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I always had to play daddy when we played house.
But what does that tell you? what that tells me that young girls are interested in other girls. You know, the feelings feelings for same sex are natural. If you want to play that, then it's a thought in your mind. And like, I just wish more women would be more inclined to be with other women.
Yeah. I think we are, and I think the whole process of patriarchy is about breaking our connection to other women. So our mothers break our spirits, and then we don't trust other women for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But I believe women, as my Facebook post said.
Me too.
Performing femininity also includes women choosing to date and pair with men, does it not?
I mean, yeah.
That's an aspect of it. What else?
Playing house was always boring. LOL was imagining adventures with my favorite characters. I was thinking about playing house the other day, and I hated it when my friends wanted to play house because I would always be the dog, because the dog is actually cool and has cool things to do. But everyone else wanted to be like pretend to be mom, and I was like, this isn't fun. Like,
I'd always end up playing dad, and then I'd get in trouble with other girls if I like did things like the dishes or something. And they'd be like, no, I'm mom. And I'm like, well, my dad does the dishes, because I didn't realize that
I didn't realize
that dad wasn't supposed to do dishes. I was like, well, men can do these things too. I was early understanding that gender roles were bullshit.
They are.
And I have House to thank for that.
Thank you, House.
Big Dyke Energy Band's here.
Hey, excellent. Great to have you.
Can't wait for that single to come out.
I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, it's pretty good. I've heard it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. I think, I was telling her about this story too, about my house adventures.
Yeah, I never.
And how they contributed to my budding lesbian feminist consciousness.
That's cute.
Yes. I tried to go to Boy Scout camp with my brother because I thought all the activities like archery were cool. That is cool. You know what we did in Girl Scouts? Nothing. I got bullied.
I was going to say lanyards.
They smashed my goddamn mermaid.
No.
Fuck you, Brittany Keenhold.
Fuck you, Brittany Keenhold. Fuck you for real. How dare you?
You orange bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry. Pardon my language.
I
just had to put that out there.
Never
letting that go.
Never.
My mermaid.
I did Girl Scouts and I enjoyed it. We didn't do a whole lot of cool things though. We did some cool things, but I quit in like 6th grade because I knew the gals are gonna get catty. So
everything that we did, or every like badge I earned, was on my own because my scout leader was Brittany's mom, and she was fucking incompetent. And we spent half of the fucking troop time. She probably had narcissism, honestly, looking back, or like half the time talking about her and how great she was. Like I still know shit about her, like that I shouldn't know.
That's weird.
Like, it was weird. Yeah. Sad.
Yeah, I remember I thought badges were really like, I felt a lot of pressure. I felt like that was really like competitive. And it was over like dumb fucking things. And you like had to do all, like, you couldn't just like go on a hike and get a hiking badge. You couldn't just like, I don't know. I just didn't really, I mean, I liked hanging out with other gals and doing like, activities, but I didn't, the whole like badge thing I thought was kind of stupid. And a lot of the badges were really stupid. Have you seen that movie, The Boss? Woo! With Melissa McCartney? And,
No.
It's hilarious. But they talk about how, so one of the girls is in Girl Scouts, and she talks about how like one of the badges is like an etiquette badge.
Etiquette,
and
yeah.
They also have a hostess badge, and you have to be a good hostess at a party. And then you
No.
get a badge for it. It's fucking really retarded. Okay,
So let's look at our other points.
oh yeah, other points.
So, we want to talk about like, let's see, check.
Need to recognize it.
Oh, so this is the thing. It's constantly done in this way when you bring up like a feminist criticism of, say, something like our videos on makeup that we did together, right? They were awesome. Consistently, women are come back with the fact that they're choosing to do this, therefore it's apolitical, therefore we should just be accepting of it, and that we're the ones with the problem. They
have the right
throw
to
it
choose
back.
that.
They have the right to choose that, and that's what feminism's all about. What they're doing there and is signaling the fact that within the context of living in a patriarchal society, they are choosing to go along with patriarchy. So many feminists go along with this and act like it's benign, or say, they excuse it, instead of saying, okay, you basically said to me that you are an agent of patriarchy, that you're here living by and enforcing its rules. Why do feminists not respect women enough to listen to what they're saying to you? Like, that's the flip side of it. Listen to what they're saying. They're saying to you, I'm against your cause. Listen and hear that and move forward with that mindset.
They're saying you're not feminine enough. They're
Yeah.
saying you need to be.
I'm a woman.
You need to remain within the confines of your femininity. Not you need to remain within the confines of your femininity, but I need to remain within the confines of my femininity, and you need to respect it, bitch. No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't respect you.
You cannot engage in femininity and not participate in the oppression of other women, By choosing to go along with these behaviors, you are putting yourself in a position within the hierarchy that designates you above women that don't do these things.
Mm-hmm.
You have status by doing them. And that status comes at the expense of other women who don't perform these things, who don't do these things. Which, again, creates a dynamic where you cannot organize properly as women. Honestly, I don't think women really can understand this until they actually are living on the other side of it.
I agree.
Until you actually start to defeminize, start to examine how you're not only behaving, but presenting yourself to the world, and make a conscious choice to not do those things and to live openly that way, you don't understand what the differences are in your status and how you're treated by people. It's a very different sort of life experience. So understand that by choosing to practice femininity, the flip side is that women continually are treated like non-women for not doing it. So, it's not apolitical. It matters.
It matters a lot. It matters the most.
It matters on your personal level in terms of how you're treating yourself, but it also matters in terms of the social hierarchy and dynamics going on. Within feminism, real feminism, women need to break down those hierarchies that keep us, not really seeing each other, not really engaging with one another.
You're not really seeing a person if she puts on a goddamn mask every day. She's not even seeing herself. If you're truly blocking your own vision on a regular basis, you're truly blocking your own vision on a regular basis. You're denying reality. That's another fucking goddamn
the
pillar of Liberlol feminism, is the denial of reality.
You gaslight yourself and then you gaslight others. Live in denial. But you know what you're doing. The mind fuck women know what they're doing when they say this shit. Like, they know that they're reversing reality. Like, if you have to, like, think your way around something to justify why it's a feminist choice, it's not.
It's not.
It's pretty simple to understand. Does this elevate women's status, or does this take women's status down a peg? You can understand that clearly. It's self-evident. So MD had a question I wanted to answer. It's kind of off topic, but, well, it's not off topic.
That's okay.
I know this is off topic, but I got an interview to do canvassing grassroots campaigning for Planned Parenthood regarding Title 10 tomorrow. Title 10. Mixed feelings, but I think it would be a good in. Thoughts? Well,
I think that sounds good. I mean, it's up to you. If you have a good feeling about it, then you should do it. And if you need money, then do it. But like, I would do that. If I had the opportunity to do that, I would. Even though I really truly have a lot of problems with Planned Parenthood, and I have a lot of problems with big pharma birth control, and I will make a video about it pretty soon. But I like to do those sort of things because I need to know where other people are at. I need to know where other women are at.
mm-hmm.
And if I'm around that kind of thing, if I'm around that kind of subject, I'm going to get a better idea of that. You know, we need to be keeping tabs on each other because we need to look out for each other.
I mean, understand that it's a liberal organization at the end of the day, and they exist basically as a business that is in business mainly because women have these problems. So understand that, like,
Ouch.
It's that NGO model. It's the NGO model of organizing. So, you know, it's hierarchical. It's very middle caste. It's all about, like, you know,
pro-twins.
It's
They've
pro-twins.
changed the fucking language to be like dumb shit about twins. Which is maybe like one person who comes into their clinic a fucking month.
Yeah.
If that.
I have the same problems with Big Pharma, hence the mixed feelings. Title 10 is the requirement for providers to offer reproductive care and abortion to all patients. Yeah, well, I mean, just understand that you're going in with that context, and I think keep your expectations low. But if you can do something like this, sounds like a positive thing for women. So, like, sometimes we make sacrifices or we work with others who we want to hold our nose around in order to get a goal achieved. So just see it as that, you know. It's part of doing coalition work. And you can leave at any point. So, you know, and you need the money. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it better than washing dishes? I disagree. I would not say that. Dishes. I love washing dishes. I would wash dishes for money any day over fucking having to go, like, canvas. Fuck that. I'm terrible at that. Imagine me showing up at your door. Hello. I mean, I've done it. And it's hard. Okay. It's hard. Well, if your boss is a jerk, that sucks. Washing dishes is supposed to be the best gig. You put on your music, you wash your dishes, you wash your soul. Goddamn. I used to, like, listen to the song Dishes by Pulp when I used to wash dishes when I worked at Quiznos back in the day. When I was a young
I don't know
thing.
that song.
It's ridiculous.
I would like to know it. I can tell when female acquaintances of mine are dealing with personal struggles and insecurities because they will amp up the femininity and search for attention and compliments to boost their confidence. They sure will.
Yeah,
and
true.
I wish I could show it to you right now, but I can't because it's on my computer. I did a video diary on the last day I ever in my life dressed up like a hop, which I think was 6th February of this year. I was really sad about this spoon drag that rejected me, and so I put on my wig. I had way shorter hair at the time. I had to put on my long ass blonde wig. I fucking did all. I don't know why I had makeup, but I hadn't used it in like a year. But I put on all this fucking makeup, and I did a video diary about it, and I cried. And I have a video of it. And I actually highly recommend everyone to do video diaries because, like, just make a video of yourself on your phone, on your computer, whatever, and just talk about something that's bothering you. And if you watch yourself. You can study yourself. You can study your own behavior. You don't have to show anyone. It can just be for you. You can understand your behavior by watching yourself. And it's done a fuck ton more for me than therapy ever has. But so, yeah, I made this fucking video diary about it. And I was like, wow, that's insecure and sad Leah. And she doesn't need to come out anymore.
I don't remember the last time I wore makeup. Halloween, maybe 2000.
I mean, Halloween. I would wear makeup for Halloween.
I think
if I was going to a thing.
Yeah. You're buying a nice wooden broom with the money I saved on makeup and feminine products. That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, a lot of women are addicted to that attention too. And like, you notice like a big part of female bonding is like paying compliments about
someone's appearance,
your appearance or your accessories. It's so dull. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Lesbian TV. Yeah, I think the last time I like wore makeup was in the Halloween of 2015. I did a clown face because I was a clown. So. Oh, really? Yeah, the compliment game. If they give you a compliment, you're supposed to give one back.
So obnoxious. So obnoxious.
Thanks for the real compliment.
So annoying.
That you were expecting to get praise back. There's so many things wrong with it.
The thing is that like women really want to connect with other women. Like, even if they're a full-blown fucking hop, like, they want that connection with a woman, and for some reason, they think they're gonna get it by saying, oh, I like your dress. No. Lesbian TV says, I always praise women on the kind of stuff that has nothing to do with their appearance or whatever. Good. That's great. Good job. That's the kind of people we should be.
Yeah. How do you compliment someone on their personality? Interesting. I like how analytical you are.
There we go.
That's very interesting. Yeah. I do compliment women on their qualities about them I like sometimes. Yeah.
Let's compliment each other.
All right.
Okay. On something that's not
physical.
Terry, you are so brilliant. You're so smart. And I love watching your videos.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. I always wonder who likes watching my videos.
I do. I
like watching your videos too.
Thanks.
Yeah. What would I say about you? You're a really good friend.
Oh, thanks.
You are.
Thanks,
very
honey.
Supportive.
I'm so glad. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. Oh, look, they're complimenting each other in the.
That's great!
Wow.
Way to go.
I love MD. MD makes connections that I don't often make. Or you just
MD
say
is
things
really
in like
smart.
really basic language sometimes that I'm not used to hearing, you know, because most of my life I'm not interacting with other feminists. I'm interacting with normies.
Normies!
And so when I put on one of your videos, I'm like, yeah.
I love how passionate
Yeah.
MD is. I love her fire. She's so fiery.
It's just too warm.
It's
I wanted
really
to
warm.
wear my
We're
cool
upset
sweater.
about the warmth right now.
Like it was okay.
It was cold this morning.
It was cold. I came
cold.
over. I wore my sweater, my coat over it, my cute hat that I got when we were hanging out the other day.
Yes.
Not my trouble hat though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. And it's just too hot. Why?
Why though?
Okay, so what else do we want to say about why liberal feminism is misogyny?
Well, it keeps, I mean, I feel like we've already said this, but it keeps women in the subordinate role to men. That's the whole purpose of it, is to make women remain lesser than men.
Yeah.
Make women continue to regard themselves as lesser than men.
To not challenge themselves, to not develop new skills, to not develop, better ways of being.
Yeah.
To not let go of behaviors and patterns that are destroying themselves.
Right.
Femininity is female self-abnegation. It's
is.
Masochism.
It is.
Women have to break the masochist cycle. We have to, instead of enjoying our pain and, this is the thing. And we were talking about this too. I'm going to go off on this tangent here.
I'm listening.
So we're talking about how you were commented on something and you were like criticizing the heels. And some woman responded like, I don't find heels uncomfortable. They're not painful for me. Liar.
You're fucking lying, bitch.
Liar.
Lies all over your goddamn face. Pants on fire.
I have had so many women say this. They're comfortable to me. They're comfortable to you because you are comfortable hurting yourself. That's why they're comfortable. You are so used to inflicting pain on yourself that you don't even register it as being painful. Until you step out of that behavior, you don't realize how fucking constricted you were. Seriously, women are used to pain. Women are used to wearing painful shoes that point their feet in odd ways. They're used to wearing clothing that they can't actually move in. They're used to wearing clothing that's not even functional without even pockets. Yeah, I mean, I used to wear ballet flats, for example. We were talking about this when we were hanging out last. Very painful. I mean, I had a lot of times where I should not have been wearing those shoes. Like, I had to walk far in them. Like,
ouch.
Yeah. This was before I was, like, disabled as well. This was before I developed a chronic illness. So, like
disabled or not, you shouldn't be wearing totally nonsensical shoes. That's just not a good idea.
At least I wasn't wearing heels, though. I only wore heels a few times in my life, and I just didn't find them to be practical in any way. So yeah. So yeah, blisters. I didn't really get many blisters, but whatever. They still weren't good for my feet. They weren't good for your arches. They don't provide any support. And heels, there's just nothing of value about heels. Whenever I see like an empowering like image of like women, like where they have like the stupid empowering quote and then they have the like female figure in heels, I'm just like,
you're interested
there goes your
in
message.
Support in hurting women and not helping them.
Heels are less. You're walking around. The appeal
of heels is wanting to be fucked by a man. That's pretty much. That's the like the goal. Like, oh, congratulations! Now you want to be fucked. Now men want to fuck you.
Women cannot be acting this way. Not if we're about to like change things, you know.
No.
You need to give that up. You gotta give up the dick worship.
Were you telling me, was it you who was telling me about the orchestra people, the orchestra women?
Yeah,
Have you followed that at all?
Oh, hell, there was some news story about that. Like,
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain it?
I think it was the Philharmonic Orchestra, but the women were fighting back against the dress codes because they're expected to wear these ridiculous dresses.
While playing cello, you're
heels,
expected to fucking wear like a skirt
heels.
and
you're
heels.
Expected to like do that. Whereas men can wear like, you know, suits. Suits aren't the most comfortable clothing, but you can move in a suit. You know, you can still work in it. You can still do that, you know. So women were fighting back. It was awesome. It was on the front page of the New York Times. I was really excited about that article when I saw it because I usually see the papers in the mornings. Yeah. So, do we understand why liberal feminism is misogyny now? It's not feminism. Its whole goal is to depoliticize feminism, to make it, to reduce it to choice versus like a political movement of resistance, which is what it is, you know?
God, I can't find it.
Why do we want to create more choices? Like, it's about like letting women have more choices, I guess. That's the liberal feminist agenda. Like, what about like just not harming ourselves as a choice? What about like women being free of restriction? What about getting rid of like female socialization and these things that hold women back from actualizing their wills in the world, from discovering themselves, from living like actualized lives? From being creative. It's so awful. Women hating left and right. Yeah.
Oh no! My phone is ringing.
Sorry, y'all. Speaking of liberal feminists.
Was it an 800 number?
No, it was my ex. It's my ex.
You guys, a lib fem was
who is a fucking lib fem. Not even a feminist, but yeah. Has that same kind of liberal attitude about everything. And I'm the problem. I'm the problem, right? My negativity is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's another great function.
I love how they like try to silence you about like your your fucking negativity and shit.
Right, dude. That shit dumb. Like,
I'm not being negative, I'm being real. And if you find realness negative, you have a fucking projection going on.
You do.
That's your shit. I understand that I'm a witch and that people will project their shit onto me, and I will transmute that, you know, till the end of time. But like, figure it out. Why are you doing that?
I said this in my most recent video, the Men Hate Confident Women.
Yeah.
But it's like, truly, like, women are just so out of it. They're so unsure of themselves. They're so fucking just, you know, truly like on their knees constantly for men. Yeah. That like when a woman comes about who is on her goddamn feet, not wearing heels, and being like, yeah, I want this, that, and the other thing done, men are like, they don't get it, and women don't get it either. Like they can't comprehend the fact that women exist, and some of us are fucking fully developed people with desires and fucking motivations and goals. Okay, but the fact that that's such a like foreign, like crazy concept to some people is due to the fact that so many women engage in the fucking subordination game of forcing femininity upon themselves and upon others. Stop it.
like when you are in that like hierarchy, like the feminine hierarchy, and you're engaging in those games, like you're responsible for policing other women. That's part of it. Like the policing that goes on is incredible. And yeah, MD says the anti-negativity thing reminds me of the fakey, nicey, nice aspect of femininity. Yeah. We have to be kind and polite all the time. Can't speak the truth unless it's deemed positive. So I don't know. It reminds me of what's that fucking movie? Book movie.
I don't know.
What?
Sweetheart,
Damn it.
describe
It'll
it.
come
describe
to me.
it.
No. I'm sorry.
What happens in it?
The Joy Luck Club, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
this is interesting because like it's an aspect of like it's a story of like Chinese women, right, and their experiences with like
I've seen
coming
the
to
movie.
like
I've seen a fair
their
amount
own
of the movie.
actualization as women, right?
Yeah.
So and their like relationships with their mothers and the spirit thing and that sort of thing. One of the characters in that story talked about like how she was trained to like eat her own bitterness.
Okay.
And that's what women do.
Right.
With that whole fakey, nicey bullshit.
Yeah.
It comes out in really hostile ways. Because like women who are fake nicey nice always have some passive aggressive shit going on.
Yep.
It's always there. And it's always going to come out and be they'll be nasty. It's like that mother on my fucking wall the other day. Like just like, I'm going to be nicey, but I'm not going to ever say anything directly to you like a woman. Like, I'm never going to come to you with any legitimate grievance.
Right.
Like, you're an equal. I'm just going to play this fucking game of if I act nice and get in with the right clique of, like, other hyper-feminine women, then we can kind of keep you out.
That doesn't fucking pan out, you dumb bitch. Like,
I mean, it does. They have their clique.
But that doesn't actually so you can gang up on other women on Feces Book together?
And then trash them.
And then trash them?
That's what they do. And then they fucking feed off of the, like, female spirit annihilation that they do. Watch out for hyper-feminine feminists. All right? If a woman's spouting radical feminist shit, but she's got red lipstick on, all right? Red flag, literally. All right? Why is she thinking that? Why does she say these awful, hostile things, right? Like, that are so against patriarchy, and then do that to herself. And not only do that to herself, and like, because someone will be like, oh, I wear it for work. Why do you put that on your Facebook where you interact with other feminists? It's so you can assert your feminine dominance.
So dumb.
Yeah. I mean, femininity is such a way that women assert, like, you know, themselves over other women. Like, they'll drop the fucking handbag. Like, it's a way that women will take up space. Like,
that shit.
Watch my purse. Like, so common. But what's another thing? Like, the hair. Like, flipping the hair around. Like, taking up all this, like, physical space. Even the air. When they're, like, a lot of the fucking chemicals they're putting on their bodies. Like, it's about owning the space entirely, taking up the space. It's not benign. You know, femininity is a very, it's a patriarchal value, you know?
You can see that in beauty advertisements when a woman using the product enters a room and commands all the attention with perfume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stew.
They do it, yeah. Like the fantasy is that you'll command all the attention of men, but you also command all the women's attention, you know. And then if any women like are like, hey, you know, I can't breathe.
Hey, excuse me, I
can't breathe because you're
oxygenate my brain properly because of this
chemicals
dumb shit
that
on your body.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, then they're the problem.
I want to tell you something, and you can judge me.
Mm-hmm.
And all y'all can judge me too, but
what are you making here?
Oh, well, this is not even having to do with it. I watch a lot of Toddlers and Tiaras, okay? I watch that show because it is so fascinating to me to watch these women perform femininity on their child, not
Yeah.
on them. It's on their child, but they see their child as like an extension of themselves.
Yeah.
So they perform all this femininity on their child, and then they get so fucking like bloodthirsty about her getting a grand supreme whatever fucking crown shit. And it's like,
yeah, no, that stuff's kind of fascinating.
it's really fascinating, but it's like, I would argue that it's like, you know, female subordination, like femininity in its purest form.
Mm-hmm.
And also most fucked up, because it's not okay to put makeup on a 3-year-old. Like,
No.
you know, and these kids, and what's also so fucking dumb is like, they're treating their children as commodities. And if you took, I don't know, like maybe read one fucking article on child development, you would understand that a 3-year-old's not going to fucking remember a goddamn routine. It's not going to happen. But they're like getting all mad at their kid for like not. It's just like, I forgot why I brought this up. But it's just like a really good example of how much femininity wrecks women.
Yeah.
And these moms are like legit fucking like cuckoo.
Yeah, then they live through this like
Cuckoo.
Yeah, they live through this child that they're doing this thing to. They break the spirit of the girl very young. Usually girls have their spirits broken much later. So you can imagine like what life is going to be like for these poor little things. They're basically creating perfect little victims for pedophiles. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say that.
Oh, yeah.
And of course that whole environment is riddled with pedophiles anyway.
Yeah.
So let's just get into that. Let's just get into the way that many mothers, through doing these things, like are basically grooming their daughters for pedophiles and giving like their daughters.
Grooming their daughters for pedophiles, grooming their daughters for abusive relationships.
Yeah. You're grooming your daughter for a lifetime of taking male shit. You know, fucked up. But if you are a liberal feminist, you're not supposed to have an opinion about that. It's apolitical. It's benign. It's her choice. Or maybe she's a child. So, you know, maybe there should be a little bit more restriction because it's a child. But like, honestly, they just say these things. They don't actually care about ending these phenomenon. Like you get that with like the liberal feminists and their attitudes about prostitution.
Yep.
They're like, it's a choice. I'm like, well, then why is the average age of entry fucking 14 years old in the USA? Do 14-year-olds have the capability to make choices on the same level as an adult woman?
No.
No.
They don't.
All right. Like, that's the average age of entry. So that's telling you how many are entering before the age of 14. Okay. Let's just break that down. All right. Fuck off with your choice bullshit narrative. It does not add up.
Well, that's a male created rhetoric that, oh, well, it's a woman's choice to be a prostitute. And if she has that choice, we should allow her. Okay. That's men saying women need to have the choice to enter prostitution so that I can have access to women's bodies. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying. And when women say that same shit, they're saying, I believe that men need to have access to women's bodies at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Or some of them have this kind of sick mentality of like, oh, well, men are just depraved, so we need to give them a class of women that they can rape at will. You know, they don't think this, they don't say these things consciously or think them consciously, but that's basically their attitude. They don't want to have to take like that kind of shit. And it makes sense because like a lot of women know their husbands use pornography, know their husbands use prostituted women, and they are so addicted to the status that having a husband gives them that they just don't do anything about it. You know, they don't leave. They don't expose him because they want what they get through their relation to him, but they don't want to have to do the fucked up weird sex acts that he wants from watching pornography, you know? That's another aspect of this.
That is.
And then they vote, you know, they go out and they vote for their good little liberal fucking progressive agendas about trying to decriminalize prostitution, you know, in such a way that doesn't actually help prostituted women at all. Just gets their husband less likely to like be prosecuted for harming women.
I mean, I feel like the whole reason women even want to get married is because they want the elevated status of belonging to a man.
Well, yeah, that's why they changed their name to men's
that's why they changed their name. They don't see themselves as a fully recognized human because they're not attached to a man.
And then they give their children men's names.
You should change your name. I'm going to change my name from my current surname. Even though I love my dad. I think he's the coolest guy. But changing my name and IDGAF. Oh, what was that? It's okay.
It seemed like a relatively benign thing, but he got scared.
It's okay. I don't know what it was.
He got swayed.
It's okay. You okay?
Check.
Come here.
Get in the shot. He's okay. He just got
Something
startled.
Like popped on the deck.
He didn't like that noise.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, the thing though too is that like this is a part of feminism. I mean, all of this has been going on since the feminist sex wars. I was talking to a woman about this the other day, and I need to get her some more resources actually. But like, yeah, I mean, this is what split the feminist movement, right? During the second wave was this argument about like, you know, basically sexual liberalism versus feminism. Feminism is a politic. Liberalism is also a politic, but it's a politic of maintaining the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Feminism is about liberation, and this is where it split. But, you know, because all of these people had been involved in what had been known as the women's liberation movement beforehand, like, thus feminism became, like, split into different ideologies. And then, of course, the radicals have been erased, disappeared, you know, silenced, because our perspective does not feed, you know, into a media narrative that is exploitable. You can't make money off of radical politics, really, right? You can't really sell it because it's not sexual. It doesn't appeal to men in any way. Men have money and resources. They're not interested in buying this sort of feminism.
No.
They're not interested. This in no way enables anyone who has privilege, status, and money. They don't want to hear this shit. They're like, oh, we have to give that shit up. We have to treat everyone as like,
I mean,
equally of value.
It's gonna like
fuck that.
The other problem is that like all their consumerist shit, I would say 60% or more of it is just like shut down. Like, I actually did some math the other day, y'all, and it was some rough math, but shaving for like a year or something costs at least $3,000 for a year.
Holy shit.
But like, that aside is like, have you heard about apparently there are these like hair product companies for relaxing African hair that are going out of business.
That's good.
Because no one's fucking buying that shit anymore because they're doing their natural hair.
That's
which is
good.
Great. You know? And that needs to happen more, and the more radical we get, the more that's gonna happen. And that's a marketing nightmare.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there's just all of these industries that are, you know, propped up on basically women's oppression. And if women were to stop engaging in things, it would be very, very problematic for capitalism, because capitalism operates on the running of new industries, development of new industries, new markets to exploit, opening up new markets. Always, always, always. You have to consistently be innovating. Like, you can't ever be still within capitalism. Money has to keep flowing. So, like, I don't know. I want to talk about this. This one thing
Go
that
ahead.
just has reminded me of Sephora will now be selling witch kits with tarot cards, a sage stick, some crystals, and I think something else in it. I don't know, but I'm annoyed by it.
Well, for the record,
I'm annoyed by it.
everyone, you cannot buy a stupid witch kit and it makes you a witch. No.
Yeah.
I hope it gets more women interested in witchcraft at the very least. But that just sounds fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe we should protest outside of Sephora.
Maybe. It wouldn't be a bad idea. It's irritating, because, Sephora sells false female empowerment. And now they're selling like these pastel colored, very airy fairy, new agey type of kits with just like, here, have this, have that, like, and then feel powerful in it. But they're not teaching like, all right, this is not anything that's like really gonna like move you into like actually developing any sort of real power magically. And just like what they sell doesn't offer you any real power in the world.
I went into Sephora, the one on Hollywood Boulevard, many years ago, and
is there a Sephora on Hollywood? Oh wait, in Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Actual Hollywood, not Hollywood, Portland.
Not Hollywood, Portland. But I was looking at the nail polish because I used to be legit addicted to painting my nails. Looking at the black nail polish, one of the colors, it was a glittery black. It was called What's a Tire Jack? So this store is blatantly sexist.
What's a tire jack?
What's a tire jack? And
oh my god!
Like, how dare you? You've seen those like really, really sexist ads from like the 50s of like women on their knees and shit being like, you can wait on your man better with this cool tray. Like, it's that level.
Yeah.
What's a tire jack? Nail polish color is that level of sexism.
Why not just call it Galaxy Glitter? Why not just not make it?
Not make it. Not buy it. Not sell it.
Why not just shove it up your ass? Like, right? What's a tire jack? That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I actually know what a tire jack is, and I know how to use one.
Yeah.
Guys. I was very offended.
Super offensive.
20-year-old me was very offended.
Super offensive.
Have we said everything?
There was something else.
Well, if any of you have anything you wanted us to talk about,
Green Party Red Femme has
free.
got zucked on IG.
What does that mean?
It means Zuckerberg has stepped in and silenced you. So did you get something removed, or are you like locked out? No, but no. Well, Facebook runs Instagram now.
She got zucked on IG. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened? What did you post? Or what occurred?
Oh, she's locked out of her IG. I'm sorry about that.
That's too bad. Fuck.
What did you say? Would the Sephora kit even work? I feel like capitalist bullshit renders materials useless. I mean, yeah, they would work. Sage is going to work if you burn it. Like, crystals have an energy. Oh, I think it has like one crystal in it, like a rose quartz crystal, which is a very positive, like peaceful, good vibe crystal. Do you understand this is all about feeling good and not actually doing anything good? And then it has like a tarot deck in it, which pisses me off.
That pisses me off too. That upset me immediately when you said that. I was like, fuck.
You don't just
even real?
You don't just have fucking, I mean, yeah, it's just irritating. It's real. It'll be a real deck, but like.
But I mean, will it really? Or is it just some dumb shit that they made up to look like tarot cards?
I think it's a real deck.
Okay, well.
I mean, it's not, I think it's a deck they designed. It looked very pastel goth type bullshitty.
Okay.
Like that like pink feminine bullshit, like internet crap from Tumblr. Like, I don't know, thick thighs, some kind of, I'm trying to think of like,
Thick thighs, save lives.
Yeah, type of bullshit. Like, and it's like, but it's in like pastel and it's all dripping with hyper feminine horseshit that like totally negates the meaning of what you're saying.
MD says she's ready to protest Sephora. Maybe we should protest Sephora.
I think I'm pissing them off by giving Zuck the middle finger for censoring us and conservatives. That they didn't tell you why you were locked out.
I don't think they often do. Do they always tell you?
I've never been blocked out of Instagram, but I don't really say anything on Instagram.
Nor do I. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. None of my like posts are like highly political on Instagram because it's just like, that's not what I use it for, Now my Twitter, on the other hand, is full of excellent insights.
Hey.
So yeah, what else do you want us to talk about regarding this? Is there anything that you have noticed? I hate bikini baristas.
Okay, how is that safe?
It's not safe.
That is so violating health codes.
Mm-hmm.
How is that okay?
Like, I work as a barista, so like you're burning yourself regularly. If you're not wearing clothing, the likelihood that you could do serious damage to yourself. I mean, clothing has saved me from some serious burns. All right.
That is terrifying.
They are frequently places of trafficking. Well, I mean, yeah, you're naked fucking there. You're looking at
and they put the window.
Women.
They make the windows really big so you can see them making the coffee from far away.
Yeah, often put in industrial areas so that men working can get easy access in between home and work to sex. Yes. What about the fertility industry? There's so much lib fem bullshit in there.
I talk about the fertility industry like all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's horrible.
The thing that really pisses me off about that, right, is treating children like they're an entitlement, like something that you're just entitled to. Children are a natural byproduct of behavior, all right? Just because you want a child does not mean you get to have one.
No.
All right?
That's true.
They're human beings.
You know what, though? That's true. That's not only true of women who are trying to naturally birth a child, that's also true of people adopting children. Yeah. Because people who adopt children, people think that it's their right to adopt as many children as they want. No.
Yeah. There's a whole adoption trafficking industry as well. Yeah. Like, people want certain kinds of children. They don't want children that are, like, often have severe problems. Like, people adopting are very rarely saints that are taking on children with, like, severe problems. Okay?
Like, but also, the way I put it to Green Party the other night was like, so how many people who naturally have children are great parents? Not that many.
No.
How many people, therefore, would it only make sense for adopted parents to be great parents? Also not that many. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like... Devontae Hart murder case.
Familiar.
I don't know about
those
this.
Women that killed their whole fucking adopted family?
Wow.
That was recent.
When?
It was really disturbing.
Oh my gosh.
They were like from this region, and they were like white women who'd adopted a bunch of black kids and then murdered them, drove them off of fucking.
Wait. The moms murdered the kids?
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay.
Was this the same case? Okay. I thought that might be.
But weren't the women dead too? They died.
Yeah, they died as well, but they haven't found all the bodies. I don't really know. It's kind of gone on news, but that really disturbed me. It was kind of like, it reminded me of Rachel Dolezal making her sons like lay down and chalk like outlines and shit. Like they did this thing a couple years back where at some sort of like protest, they had their like black adopted child walk up and ask a police officer for a hug, and then they recorded it. Oh. They also weren't feeding these children. Like, the children were severely malnourished.
I've heard of, I remember.
So, like, people who adopt are not saints either, and it needs to be like, it would be interesting if you wrote about it, Big Dyke Energy. Why don't you look it up? Then you could publish it.
But like going back to the fertility industry, like women think that they think that bearing a child like makes you more of a woman.
Yeah, that's basically.
They think that being a biological mother is like the peak of womanhood.
Yeah.
And like I don't necessarily disagree with that completely. Actually, I do. I disagree with that completely. I disagree with that completely. And like if you want to do that, okay. But if you've had like multiple miscarriages whilst doing fertility treatment, just stop. I don't think that fertility treatment should exist.
Mm-hmm.
Period at all. But it's another way to feed on women's insecurities.
Yeah.
Is by lying to them and, telling them like, oh, like I watched this one program, it was British, about this fucking like 50-year-old couple that were trying to conceive a child by fertility industry, and they tried it and it didn't work, and then the guy who was like telling them, like the doctor was like, well, you shouldn't give up.
And what a waste of fucking resources, too.
Give up!
This is expensive as well. Like, women just waste so much money on, like, this crap. Like, but that's because the whole message is consistently driven into women from birth that you are not value, you don't belong here unless you breed. The highest status you may receive is bearing children for a man. Yeah. That's what your function is.
That's your function.
And you will not understand anything until you do. And this is how, like, many mothers act. Like, there was this conversation happening as well on Facebook. I don't participate in a lot of these, but this one was interesting. Like, women were talking about it, and I was, like, observing the conversation. But like a lot of just this, like, you can't understand unless you do this thing. I'm like, well, you can't understand any woman's experience, like, really, unless you're living it. Right. Like, it's a non-point, but mothers are just the most, they're just so encouraged to do this behavior. Like, you don't know what it really is to be tired. But yeah, other women do. You don't understand what it's like. They don't understand what other women are living like either. So it's a nonsensical point, but it's culturally accepted. And I also wanted to bring up, like, that film Steel Magnolias, everyone's like favorite film. Oh, you haven't seen Steel Magnolias? I have not seen Steel Magnolias. Okay, it's incredible. All right, because there's like all this hyper femininity in it. Like, it all revolves around like women's relating in the beauty parlor. Oh, you gotta watch this. Okay, I'll rent it. But one of the main characters, like, she has like severe diabetes, and she is under Louisiana ladies. Yeah, you know all about these types. So yeah, the main character has, like, she wants to have a kid. Okay. But she has this, diabetes that could make having kids very complicated and could, like, risk her life. And her mother is, like, very upset with her going forward trying to get pregnant. She's like, you can't do this. You're going to die. Yeah. And her daughter's like, I just want, she just is so obsessed with this idea of breeding that she's willing to, like, give up her life for it. Bruh, right? So scary. Because she won't, like, there's this scene where she and her mother have this confrontation, and it's like, she has this line like, I'd rather have 15 minutes of something great than a lifetime of nothing special. And that's how women think about their own fucking lives outside of having kids. Yeah. And that's the mentality a lot of women have. They're like, my life is nothing special unless I breed. Crazy. This one gal on IG I follow, she wrote this thing, and it actually really fucking terrified me. She said she had a kid, and she said, when I had my kid, I realized that my mother loved me more than I ever loved her. And I was like, that's true.
because the mom always loves the kid more than the kid loves you. The kid only really loves you until they're like, what, 5? Until they're like really not dependent on you.
I don't really consider that actual love, though. That's dependence. It's a total different thing.
True.
Dependence is not
no,
love.
but exactly. But so that's then like you don't
love
even.
Love is between equals.
It is. But so that's the whole thing is like you don't even. Do you see what I'm saying? It's so terrifying. And she had a point. Like, fuck.
Yeah. There's a lot of myths about it, and we got to break this stuff down. So they're bringing up Munchausen by proxy. So all these women transitioning their children, this is another form of breaking children's spirits as well. Mothers don't have privilege over anybody. Ooh. Why are you saying ooh? This is not a furry place. Doesn't that originate in the furry community?
I don't understand what ooh
It's
is.
like ooh. It's like what they say to each other.
I thought it was some kind of face that the U and the W and the U made.
Oh, twins do ooh because they're furries. That's why. It's just cutesy. You all need to think about these things. Where did that come from? What community did that come from? Look it up. This is not a furry place. Okay. Well, whatever. It's all the degenerate bullshit seems to like be comorbid. Anime, furrydom, transsexuality, they all go together. It's comorbid, as they say. All that perverted, sick shit. They're all like gateway drugs to one another. I like anime, sorry. Yeah. Well, we're watching you. And welcome. I'm not adding it to any of my sarcastic. I'm not participating in this. I'm not.
Do any of you have anything like interesting or smart to say? Because I don't give a shit about. Oh well. I meant, do you want to bring anything else up?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant.
So, yeah, Munchausen by proxy. A lot of women get attention and live vicariously through their children. And one way they can do it is by having a special child. If they've got a trans child, they can take them out more. They can brag about them. They can get them in all these special little treatments and all that bullshit that they don't need because there's nothing actually wrong with the child because quote unquote gender dysphoria is a normal process. It's something that most children go through because gender is so fucking confusing and just crazy.
Right.
I had many times like growing up that I wished I was a boy or wanted to be a boy or thought I could be, like not that I could be a boy, but like that, things would just have been a lot better if I had been. Mm-hmm. And they would have been. Just to be real, they would have been. If I'd been born male, my life would have been very different. I would have had a lot different experiences. So, yeah, like gender dysphoria it's normal. And now, like, it's just a way that women can, like, participate in getting more fucking attention for their kids, through their kids. It's the same phenomenon as, like, hyper-feminizing your, like, daughters for toddlers and tiaras type crap. It's the same sort of, or like, giving your child a disease or like using your child's disease as a way to get more attention for your service to this child. Another thing is women are like, they martyr themselves for their children and it's a performance that they're doing for attention. What a great mother am I. That's like weird, hyper feminine bullshit. And until you like see it for what it is and name it, it's not going to end. And like feminism really needs to address this stuff because the biggest aspect of femininity that takes place with breaking female spirit is the mother-daughter relationship, dude. Right.
Well, not thumbs up.
And how many mothers, how many feminists have problems with their mothers? How many feminists and daughters of feminists, right, have had problems with their feminist mothers? Hello? Like, it's just, it's a thing. There's like a degree of female spirit breaking that goes on there.
MD says she hates anime with a passion. I haven't watched enough anime.
Oh, so Green Party Rad Femme wants to talk about women who get pregnant by some random guy to have a baby, not taking the child's well-being into consideration.
That's Stu. And I've known women who have done that. It's never a good idea. It's always a horrible idea. And it's like I was saying a minute ago, it's like your kid only appears to love you when he or she is dependent upon you. But the moment that kid can put words together to be like, who is my dad? They're gonna start putting the pieces together, and they're gonna understand like that they probably shouldn't have been born, and then they're gonna fucking act out. Like it's that simple.
It is that simple. Friends after she got a boob job. Last I heard, she was living with an abusive, controlling guy.
I heard about this.
This is what happens when women like have no ambition and like don't hold themselves to any standards, right? If your life is about like everything is meaningless, which is what liberalism teaches you, nothing matters, all choices are equal, pick your poison, nothing you do actually matters. So you're just going to live that way. You're going to go you're not even going to be making decisions. You're just sleepwalking through your life. You're not directing it. And that's the fucking prison that most straight women are in.
Yep. Fact.
Yeah.
Sure is. I actually wanted to talk about this earlier, but so Lesbian TV says, I also think it's interesting how breeding is expected of lesbians when it wasn't before. I am a product of the lesbian 80s boom. I guess it was 90s too, but yeah. I don't understand I don't understand lesbians having bearing children. I don't get it. I'm calling bullshit right now. I'm calling bullshit on every lesbian woman that bears a child that becomes pregnant via in vitro. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, are you really? I don't really think you're a lesbian if you're doing that. If
you're sticking semen into your vagina,
you're not a lesbian.
That's not a very lesbian.
You're not behavior. A lesbian. And if you want to adopt kids as a lesbian couple, have at it. Be my guest. Awesome. Kids need parents.
Well, I don't know because they might end up being like those women that starved their kids and drove them off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, but true. That's true.
It pushes. But you know what it did? I blame lesbians having kids for the destruction of the lesbian feminist community. Straight up. All these women took their lesbian money and resources, and instead of feeding it back into a vibrant community that would exist for all of us, they fucking took it and they started creating little imitation nuclear families with it. So what do you have when you have a nuclear family? You have to have vehicles. You have to have fucking like a home.
House.
You have to have a yard. Fucking appliances. You have to pay for all the kids' shit. That money goes into an individual private family, not the lesbian community.
Yeah.
Which is who it should be going to. Like we should have that sort of mentality about ourselves that like we are a people and that we deserve to like be like beating one another as a people. So it's ridiculous. All that like lesbian money going to that. And yes, it's pushed in the media, of course, because it benefits capitalism. Okay, you want to live differently? Fine. Well, you have to still be
live differently, but not that differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Your life is no different than the average heterosexual couple at that point,
I think there's
a difference in terms of the dynamic of your relationship. But apart from that, what society really values is you basically being a consumer. And the whole, family lifestyle is a consumerist lifestyle. It's very hard to raise kids outside of that.
I think that lesbians or a lot of people in general, I think that they so say lesbians get together and even they're married, right?
Ooh.
They don't see themselves as like legitimate if they don't have kids. They don't see they are. I feel like they're trying to fit in with the straights by like having kids.
Well, a lot of lesbians' families, like, you know, they want to be accepted by their families, and one way to get familial attention is to have kids.
True.
So if your daughter has a kid, all right, you'll invest more in her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true. A lot of families just ignore their lesbian like children, like unless they're like, you know, having kids. Yeah. So it's a way to feel normal. It's a way to fit in. We're not normal. And that's okay. It's actually a great thing to not be normal, because the normal is fucking crazy. The normal is killing the planet.
It is.
The normal is bad for like the world.
It is.
All right. We need more abnormal people. We need to embrace our abnormality.
I'll be RB.
That's a good choice, J Temper. I totally agree with that. So yeah, it's weird. And you brought up Green Party, Rad Femme TV brought up gay males hiring surrogates.
Ah!
Surrogacy is so fucking evil. I did a video on my channel called Surrogacy is Wrong. You know, like I think last year at some point. A lot of people hadn't ever thought about it, but like it's a big part of like the radical feminist community to like be, you know, critical of reproductive technologies, and one of these is surrogacy. But like even under the best circumstances, it's just not a good idea. You know, for the woman, I don't really think there's a way you can actually properly compensate a woman for gestating a child. Like there's that, but then there's just such a level of exploitation to it that I can't bear it. And also, like, gay men shouldn't, like, if your children are a byproduct of behavior, right? If your behavior doesn't, you know, incline itself to pregnancy, why are you going out of your way to have it? Like, children are not commodities, dude. Oh, it's so irritating to, like, children are human beings, right, man? And your first fucking relation with them is treating them as something you can just get. You either get them through you either create them through your actions, or like you go and acquire them through your resources. Money, basically. It's disturbing to me, dude. I think about it, I get upset. Lord knows why you still love those creatures. I don't know, but you need to figure that out. It's a choice. I agree with Marty. Like, stop loving them. First, just choose to stop loving them. Stop looking after them. Stop trying to catch their attention. Stop being interested. This is how my friend always described it. When you're walking down, like, or whatever, you're living your life, and you get that validation that you're addicted to, that male validation. It's like collecting a coin in Mario Kart or something, you know, or in Mario World. You fucking, like, get that coin, and then you feel worthwhile. You feel validated because they noticed you. Stop chasing after that. Reject the coin. Don't take the coin. Choose to stop taking the coin. Once you stop taking the coin and you start living outside of looking for that coin, it opens up some stuff. It's a process, but you'll get there. But first off, just choose to stop investing in that. Like, basically, that's my advice.
It's not that hard.
Stop chasing the coin. That's the first step. And you know what? Once you stop looking for the coin, they're going to stop offering it to you. And then you have to figure out who you are outside of male validation. But that's what you want. You don't want men. You want their validation. I'm going to do what you just did.
Go ahead, sweetheart. I don't really understand the thinking behind that.
All right, be right back, guys.
Like, what is the thinking behind getting male approval? Like, what is it that you gain? Like, okay, a guy wants to fuck you. Okay, a guy is fucking you. Okay, multiple guys are fucking you. What do you really gain from that?
Normalcy.
Terry says normalcy. I don't think that's even, but that's not even a benefit to be normal. It's not a benefit to be a normal woman within patriarchy. That's an anti-benefit. That's a fucking what's the word? That's a disadvantage. Mediocre sex at best. Agree. We are our own coins. He says hi. He says hi and that he loves you. I missed what happened just in the last few minutes. My family makes me feel either like a child or a pet or object they bought. Yikes. Yeah, I've been there though. Really, I have. It's super annoying. That's why I don't associate with my extended family at all. Women need to choose women. Agree. They need to choose women. Sorry, y'all. Must not be interesting. What were you saying while I was gone?
Huh?
What were you saying while I was gone?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't have that short-term memory. Come on. I have something I want to talk about.
Leah, you're a lesbian, right? Unfortunately, I can't really answer that because I've not had the opportunity to be with a woman. So hit me up. Hit me up.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about how we were talking the other day how women's appeal to authority.
Yeah.
And that's part of liberal feminism.
Sure is.
And I had this come to me, this idea came to me because I had this interaction with a woman on Twitter who I found this bot responded to me because I was tweeting, I responded to it, right? It put out some sort of misinformation about puberty blockers. So I immediately was like, actually I was hanging out with Lesbian TV when this happened. You remember this. So I tweeted out like, what puberty blockers actually do. If you take puberty blockers and then put a child on cross-sex hormones, you are going to sterilize that child. And that is what is happening to kids right now. All right.
So yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even necessarily say that sterilization in itself, just the inability to have children is bad. But when you are putting drugs against their natural systems, not only does it result in sterilization, it results in the inability of your sexual organs to function at all. And for that matter, it probably would also affect, your any other organs that are nearby. So, your bladder, your bowel movement, your colon.
Your actual genitals?
Your actual genitals.
So
it's not just sterilization that's
you don't
a concern.
Develop adult genitals.
It's a lot of things.
So anyway, I responded to this, and then the bot, so-called, responded to me. So it replied to me. When do bots ever respond to you? Suspicious. So I just responded back to it, right? See if it's going to respond. And then this other woman starts getting involved in the conversation. Her name was like Henrietta or something. And she's like, are you a doctor? Like that kind of horseshit. Like, because they responded, the bot account was like, the Association of Endocrinologists recommends doing this. I'm like,
recommends putting your kid on hormone blockers?
Of course they do. Why do people trust authority so much? This is a problem, all right? You need to be suspicious about authorities. As a woman with a chronic illness, I can tell you, I know more about my chronic illness than my fucking doctor does. She is basically a drug fucking pusher. That's what she does.
That's what they are.
No offense,
US,
doctor,
that's what they are.
but that's what they do, right? They have an agenda. They want to get you on drugs, all right? You have to take responsibility for your own health. And this idea that you should set up a child, like prior to even being adult for a lifetime of medical intervention because they don't conform to whatever gender they're supposed to is fucked up.
It's fucked up.
It's
wrong.
Fucked up.
It's
and I
totally
hope there's
wrong.
lawsuits in the future.
I hope there will be. There will be.
But okay, like, you know, doctors have always experimented on populations that were vulnerable. And the population and the general population has known about it and gone along with it. What do you think the Nazis were doing to fucking people? They were fucking experimenting on them. What do you think happened in all of these experiments? The Tuskegee experiments are a great example in the U.S. of like the U.S. government infecting like black men mainly with what was it?
I think everything. Tuberculosis.
They were infecting them with like syphilis,
venereal disease. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's like that, and then of course the whole history of gynecology itself, which was practiced on basically slave women without anesthetic, basically just cutting into their like organs. This is the medical establishment, all right? This is the scientific community, all right? They're sick, twisted, alien, experimental fucks. This is what they do, all right? And if you just give away all of your power authorities, you're disempowering yourself as a person, right? You have a right to make a decision about how you live and how you die, right? There's that. So many people don't even do any research before, and they just accept what the doctors tell them to do, and then they end up dead. So there's that. But also, it just goes to show, like, a basic understanding of feminism is the fact that we are experts. We are experts. We don't.
I am an
expert
expert for real. Y'all.
We don't have to give our
know
power
about
away.
women's health. Hit me up, okay?
Yeah, we consistently downplay what we know. We consistently act like what we don't know is like, or what we know is like not that important. And then because of that, women end up in a lot of situations that they don't have to if they just trusted their own inner knowing and knowledge.
Right.
Like a lot of the time, you know things, right? But apart from that, it's like we're the experts of our own experiences as well. Like we have, you know, like
of our own soul.
This came up like with like the whole veganism argument too. Just to go and touch on that. That's another example of how people appeal to authorities. Like, oh well, the what is it the
China study.
Well, no, I'm trying to think of like we had a stream once and they mentioned some sort of like government or some sort of official like body of whatever doctors like that say it's okay. I'm like, okay, so because these people say it's okay, you're going to discount listening to women's experiences with vegans. My experience is that they don't organize as well. You know, my experience is there's usually like problems. Not all vegans are unhealthy, but most are. Okay. Well, and that's the argument I was making. It's only a matter of time.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you might be healthy now, but if you are in fact vegan, it's only a matter of time until you start having health problems. The same goes for vegetarianism. Sorry, y'all. I'm actually going to make a video about this.
You should.
I will. I know all about it.
The problem wasn't just the veganism, but it's like the fact that women who are feminists like are just like, well, I'm going to trust an expert over like this happened with Bev in the chat. They were like, well, Bev's not a fucking like doctor, so therefore she couldn't know shit, except for she spent a lifetime watching women on vegan diets. And she's had friends on vegan diets, like, get sick from them. Like, you're an expert of your own reality.
She knows what she's talking about.
The only reason why women don't feel like they're experts is because they're asleep. They're sleepwalking through life.
Yeah. Be
Be awake. Fucking, learn from what's going on around you. Observe it. And fucking judge for yourself.
For real.
Exercise your own judgment and your own critical thought, man. That's what feminism is about, dude.
God,
for real though.
But here's the thing about that is that women just like don't trust their intuitions.
That too, yeah.
They just don't even fucking know. And like a lot of the time, we kind of know, you and I, because we're cool like this.
We're cool.
We know these things like before they happen. Like, I started a new job recently, and when I like had the interview and everything, I knew I was gonna get it. I knew it, you know. So like I was like kind of trying to. I'm saying like your intuition, trust your intuition. That's what I'm saying. It's like these women. I feel like so many women like go into these bad situations, get into these like bad health things, like da 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 da, and then they're like, oh my god, like before I knew it, I was in the hospital like dying. It's like, honey, you didn't see that you were sick before. You weren't catching up on that fact. You weren't like, wow, I feel horrible. Like. You were just like convincing yourself to carry on with this stupid ass diet because someone on the internet told you it was cool.
Yeah.
For real. Like, but it's not just that. It's a myriad of other things. Like you fucking need to learn how to like listen to yourself.
You have to take yourself seriously. Like you really do. You have to take yourself seriously. And when you take yourself seriously, it's hard to put on the red lipstick. It's hard to put on the clown paint, you know? It's hard to teeter around in heels. And it's hard to, like, you know, listen to somebody. It's hard to, like, say, watch a doctor basically medically experimenting on a child and say, this is cool. All right. Whatever. Like, I just wonder if people, like, understand like that we live in an authoritarian society ruled by evil people that want to profit off of your misery.
It's true.
And will create new markets of exploitation to do so.
Babe, that's what I was going to say earlier, is that you mentioned like the Tuskegee Airmen and like Tuskegee experiments, right? Okay, yeah. But so that kind of thing, and as well as, you know, experimenting on women in prisons, which as far as I've heard, that's still happening. When you convince a populace that it's their idea, and you've convinced these parents to take their children, you convince these people to get these things, and you have them under the impression that they're doing it under their own free will.
Yeah.
That's even better for them. Worse for you, but better for them because they're like, oh.
I mean,
we got their legal consent.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting with the whole like trans thing. The level of mass hysteria around a phenomenon that didn't exist 20 years ago. Like, did people have this level of gender dysphoria back then? Sure. A couple might have. But as the numbers, no. It's being socially created. So it's an artificial problem that they then are selling you the solution to. But the solution is always just to like figure out for yourself your comfortability with yourself.
Right.
Like, be comfortable with yourself. The reason most people aren't comfortable with themselves is they don't really know themselves too. We're also trained to like, we don't trust our intuition, but we also don't get to know ourselves. We aren't trained to like spend time with ourselves or to figure out what we like. Women are told never to express what they dislike, so they can never move really in the direction of what actually makes them feel good.
Right.
You know, we gotta stop. Femininity is a prison. And that whole fake nicey nice, you must be polite at the expense of everything is part of that prison. There's a time to be polite and there's a time to like not be. And also, it's not impolite to tell the truth sometimes.
Just say your opinion.
Yeah. Why can't women express opinions? Women, yeah, it's so irritating. Men are like just trained to express their opinions all the time. But when women do it, it's like,
yeah, it is. Yep, it is. Yep.
And that's why people listen to men about all of these issues more than they do women. Like all the men that are like, there's something wrong with this trans issue, for example. Like, where have you been, dude?
Yeah, where have you been, bruh? I knew that,
but then they'll get like accolades for it, praise, like shared everywhere, published in major magazines. While the women who've been on the front lines doing it for, I don't know, decades are still fucking treated like pariahs in society for basically, I don't know, being decent people is all I can figure. Oh, what did he get there?
He got a raccoon tail.
He got a raccoon tail. Wow, and he's bringing it over. Oh, he didn't make it. He didn't make it.
He didn't want to bring it all the way over. Yeah, dude, that shit dumb. I mean, I love bossing people around when, like, you know, the occasion calls for it. And I'm good at it too. Like, I don't do it in a mean way. But people can't handle that. They have a problem with it most of the time because they're not used to it. They're not used to a woman calling the shots.
Yeah.
That upsets them.
Whereas they'll take it from a man, no problem.
Oh yeah, I'll take it from a man, no problem. But because when it's from a woman, that's just too
I love
out
when
there.
women boss me around. I'm like, oh, okay. They get bossy. I'm like, oh, this is different. I'm like, okay.
I love being the angry lesbian though. So good for you, Marty.
Thank you, Marty.
Good
Somebody
job.
has to be the angry lesbian.
Mean Marty.
Mean Marty.
Awesome.
Performing femininity is drag not only for men, for women too. LOL. There's nothing to laugh about there. Like, yeah. That's true.
It's
not an LOL. It's a for real.
I was talking to Green Party about that earlier today, I think.
FRT for real though.
It's like they're so like gay men, some gay men. A lot of these trannies are gay men. Wouldn't you say so?
I'd say it's about half and half.
Okay, well, a fair amount of them are gay men.
Most of the ones I'm seeing, the ones that really scare me are
straight men.
They're straight men, and they're like, I'm a lesbian, and it's like, oh god, it's like my worst nightmare. Like they just won't leave us alone.
Yeah, that's terrifying. But the thing is like, so there are such people, but then there are, you know, normal women who have a fetish for a man dressing up as a woman, or a man who has a fetish for a man dressing up as a woman, or a woman who has a fetish for a woman dressing up like a man. And it's like, why are you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If you're into that sexually and you want to do that in your own homes, I don't care. But like, don't make your goddamn sex drive your fucking life 24 hours of the day. That's unhealthy. My friend got kicked out of her parents' house last night for saying to her mom that gay men naturally sound feminine sometimes, but the mom was pissed because she was like, nah, they're faking it. See, I don't understand the whole, like, kicking your child out of the house thing. I've never understood that. No matter what the reason. I feel like you didn't want to have that child.
They're faking it for attention. Imagine hating gay men that much. What a fucking hoe bag her mom is. Like, seriously. Okay. There's this really good documentary that was done called Do I Sound Gay? Which was about gay men's voices, actually. That was really interesting. And it had, like, David Sedaris, who has a very, very gay voice. And he wrote about it in one of his books. Me Talk Pretty
straight?
One Day. No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's married to, what's his husband's name? I don't know. He's married to this, like, okay, David Sedaris is like this super nerdy little gay guy, and he's married to this, like, hunk. I think his name's Hank or something. And they just have the most cute relationship. It's adorable. But yeah, feminine. Yeah. Like, what? I don't think it sounds feminine. I think it sounds like not like macho.
Sure.
Well, maybe it sounds feminine. I don't know. I don't really.
It doesn't sound like a typical.
They don't sound like women.
Voice.
Yeah, they don't sound like women, though, I guess. And they're not doing it for attention. What the fuck?
But what were you going to say about Do I Sound Gay?
Or Do I Sound Gay? It's a good documentary that kind of deals with, like, the gay voice thing. Because, like, that often happens when gay men come out. Like, their straight friends will, like, be like, oh, he changed. And it's like, no, he just was repressing himself before.
Right.
And yeah, like David Sedaris wrote in his book, Me Talk Pretty One Day, he has this essay about he has a lisp, and he had it since he was a child. And he had this speech, like he wrote this story about this woman who was trying to teach him how to like correct his speech, but it didn't really work out, you know. And yeah, as he became an adult and kind of realized that like the other boys that also had lisps were probably gay too. Actually, he had this like big epiphany. It's an interesting story. Like
that's like I feel like that's like an evolutionary kind of marker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can find your kind.
Find your kind.
Find your kind.
Whatever. Yeah. In the South, most gay men sound and look straight. Some don't, though.
I haven't spent a lot of time in the South.
Yeah. I've spent most of my time in like Yankee land, so I don't really know. But that would make sense. I mean, if you're living in Chris Crocker sounds gay.
I like Chris Crocker.
Yeah, I like Chris Crocker too. Although he is doing like, it sounds more like a survival thing and a repression thing. Yeah, it's more like you're repressing that sort of thing. And if you get a bunch of like gay men together, it does get more elaborate because they're with their own kind. They're like communicating on their own kind, just like, you know, when lesbians get together, we all become like, you know, incredibly complaining and bitchy, and that's our kind. That's our culture, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. Yeah, Chris Crocker thinks he's transgender.
No.
Yeah, he said he feels like a woman, which is so funny. Like, given that he's like a gay male porn star, and
I didn't know he did pornography.
Yeah, he does pornography.
Doesn't surprise me though.
He says that he goes back and forth, like he just, you know, but he's like, I'm not gonna ever transition, that sort of thing. But he did like these posts before about like trans people who don't transition, and he's like, I'm one of them, and it's like,
so you're a normal person.
You're a normal person then. Yeah. Guess what? We all have masculine and feminine, quote unquote, you know, things about ourselves.
I think they just want to have, I mean, this is true of vigorexia too. They just really, really, really want to have like a core group of people. They want to have like a friend group, a community.
Yeah.
And, you know, they think that because they all, you know, claim tranny, like wave their tranny flag, that they're going to have a community.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Sorry.
And it makes you, it's like church. It's a cult. Yeah. You know, that's why we call it the trans cult.
Yeah.
And yes, they want to be special. They want to be different.
Hashtag special.
Hashtag different. But yeah, it is. It's like being in a weird cult where you're like constantly having to like, I mean, even people who have no desire to transition, like Chris Crocker.
Sure.
Would be a completely stupid idea for him to like transition, and given that he does gay male pornography as well, so it's just like, but you know, gotta participate and belong and be cool and be hip and be relevant. And this is the same thing with like lesbians participating in this cis game and like, you know, calling themselves cis or calling themselves they. They're trying to be relevant. Right? They're trying to like, oh, well, you know, I'm involved in like this sort of thing. You know, I'm a part of this ever evolving community too. I'm not just a basic like lesbian. How boring. Like, it's so irritating. It really is. It's just about belonging and participating in some sort of trend. It's so obnoxious. I'm glad that we could educate you about Chris Crocker, Lolly, to know. Real education is happening today.
I want to answer this as a radical. What's your opinion on electoral politics? Do you mean like the electoral college?
I think they just mean like participating in voting generally. And by they, I mean she. Sorry, Marty. Didn't mean to they you.
To be woke, you have to be pansexual, it seems. Yeah, that shit. Stew.
If somebody says they're pansexual, I immediately am like, how can I get away from this person? You know?
Ouch.
It's
True,
just like,
though. Yeah,
it's just
I mean,
so you're bisexual,
they just want to be cool,
but
okay?
you're
They
like
just,
really into supporting
they just wanna be
transsexuality.
cool.
Yeah,
They want to be so cool.
I'm relevant.
They want to do hashtag
Yeah.
have a hashtag pansexual T-shirt. So that everyone knows they like men and women and trannies.
Yeah, they should just have a shirt that says DTF on it. That's what it should say.
DTF.
Like, really.
DTF anyone.
Mad extra form of being bi and thirsty.
Truth. That is a fact.
So as a radical, my opinion on electoral politics, I'm not really that interested in them. I really don't invest too much of my political energy in them. I may vote on certain things that I think are important, but in terms of presidential elections, in terms of like party politics, I have no interest. It doesn't interest me. In my like youth, I participated in kind of a Marxist-Leninist tendency, which was the idea is that you participate in a political party and you work within the like political system to try and like create a revolutionary situation and a party that can take over the government while a revolution is happening, right? That's the idea. And I'm for that sort of thing. But at this point, I mean, I don't like working with men.
No, me neither.
I find that most of the left is ridiculous, has fucked up priorities, bandwagon jumping. They've sold out like actual like political philosophies like in favor of supporting like transgenderism just to stay relevant, as opposed to like actually caring about like class and real issues of importance, you know? Because ultimately the thing about this issue is like it's very first world problems.
It is.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't. Yeah. So in terms of electoral politics, I will never like endorse a mainstream candidate for president. So don't come to me asking who to vote for, that sorts of things. And I get in trouble with a lot of feminists for this because I just don't participate. And I don't support the Democratic Party. So that's another thing. A lot of feminists don't like that. But I can't. I just can't.
I mean, the thing
and
is,
honestly,
though,
it's like for me, it's like they're like they complain about voter apathy. I don't believe that voters are apathetic. I believe that most people are not participating willfully. Right? A lot of people just don't participate because like they just don't. It's willful, and you're taking away like. Are some people apathetic? Sure, but a lot of people are choosing not to vote as a protest.
True.
So that needs to be understood as well.
I just want to read what Jay Temper said. Maybe trans trends are only there to help makeup and cosmetic products sales stay up. Ha ha. Props.
Yeah, I mean, this has just opened up a whole new market for like makeup. Before, like, if you were a man wearing makeup, you run risk getting your ass kicked. But now you're like the most brave fucking person in the world.
I saw a fucking commercial. I think
brave.
I think I saw a commercial. I think it was for like L'Oreal. It was like some teen boy, maybe an early 20s boy, like putting on makeup. And he was getting ready and he put on makeup and then he went out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are all these annoying ass who's that really fucking annoying guy that is like a known makeup person now? I don't know. Let's not even say his name.
Jeffree Star?
Not him.
Oh.
By the way, I met Jeffree Star and he was a fucking prick. I will add. Just so you know.
That's what I've heard.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't care if you're a man, I don't care if you're a woman, and now that they have men doing it, they're like, oh, hot. Like, we can get men on the commercials. Yeah. More ways to promote male approval by women. And then I've been to that guy's, like, thing, his, like, Instagram or whatever, and it's always, or even his videos, and it's a bunch of fucking women commenting, being like, oh my god, so pretty. Oh my god, this. Shut up.
Well, it's the same thing that women do when there's like a transsexual in the bathroom. They like compliment him.
That's what they do on every video.
Yeah.
Of any tranny. They're like, oh my gosh, I love his hair. I love his shirt. I love his makeup. I love his shoes. I love his style. I love this. That's because that's female socialization.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
I want to respond to MD here.
What'd you say?
He's obsessed with money and materialism and designer everything. All right, so this is another thing in which liberalism is just the most ridiculous form of thought, and how it just destroys radicalism and it destroys feminism. Like that right there. You can't criticize people being materialistic, being obsessed with like nonsense, because it's their choice to be.
Seriously.
Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh,
really?
God.
Like, you can't be critical of the fact that people spend that much money on, like, I don't know, clothing, for example, which is completely unnecessary and, you know, not made in any better conditions than the average, like, sweatshop clothing is produced in. So there's that aspect of it. You know, how much are the workers actually being paid there, that sort of thing. Like, so that's the sort of thing, but it's a designer brand and it's a status thing. So you can't be critical of people chasing status, people being materialistic, people like consuming unnecessary goods, you know, people being wasteful, people being frivolous, people being like, you know, just mindless consumers. You cannot criticize that because it's a choice. Like, it's so ridiculous. Meanwhile, like, how many people around the world live in, like, poverty? How many people, like, within the U.S. alone are facing, like, homelessness or, like, are dealing with this generation alone? We have to be critical of materialism, right? Because we're not going to have, like, the nice material sort of, like, or materialistically driven lives that we're expected to have, like that we were taught we could pursue.
Right.
I mean, you know, not all of us, but, you know, like the whole middle class American dream bullshit that people chase. We have to be critical of that. It's not sustainable. It's not good for the earth. It's not good for our personalities.
It's just not a good goal. Like, okay, you made enough money to buy X, Y, and Z expensive product. That means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a goal. That's not a good goal. That's a shitty. Okay, you're a cajillionaire, and you're so proud of your Gucci glasses, Gucci shirt, Gucci pants, Gucci socks, Gucci shoes. You are fucking stupid. Maybe you could use that goddamn money to make something fucking worth it.
I mean, what a waste of resources.
I feel like did I say this
the
in
amount
another video?
of money that people spend on like sunglasses could go to like funding like a woman's rent for a month. You know, these things, this is a vapid waste of resources and money. And we should be like, honestly, we need wealth redistribution now.
We do.
If you're just buying that shit, it's vapid bullshit. This is why I'm a communist. I cannot deal with this level of excess and bullshit. Like, we need to have a very standardized system.
I feel like
I need to respond to something, but go on.
No, go ahead. I'll say it in a second.
I just read MD saying that Jeffree Star burned a handbag that cost thousands for a video for the hell of it. That. I really hate these videos too, where these rich assholes destroy like products that cost thousands of dollars.
I've also heard of like really wealthy young people like absolutely trashing really, really, really expensive hotel rooms.
Yeah, that's another
like,
thing.
Just like But okay. I think I may have said this in another video. I hope I didn't. But I was watching this show many years ago of this really, 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 really stupid wealthy couple that like, and they would like they went through like the furnishing of a house. Okay, so they were talking about their fucking their kitchen cabinets, how they furnish their kitchen cabinets, and they were saying they got fucking gold hardware for their goddamn kitchen cabinets, and they got fucking like actual real crystal knobs for their fucking kitchen cabinets. I did some rough math, and them fucking for just the hardware and the fucking handles for their kitchen cabinets cost them somewhere around $15,000 to $22,000. Like, that is like more than 5 vacations.
Yeah.
That is like, that's a one kid's college tuition. Like, there, but you spent it on cabinet hardware and handles. Like, what is wrong with the world?
Yeah, I'm just imagining what I would do with that level of resources.
Buy kitchen cabinets.
I would be creating community services for like women who need them. That's what I would be doing with that money.
MD says people should know by now that material items do not create happiness. Same as money doesn't buy happiness. We need a healthy planet and healthy relationships with each other. Yes.
I would invest that level of resource in my care when I'm old. I'm stressed about that.
Fair point.
That's fair enough, especially if you haven't bred, which I don't think you have. Thank you for your contribution to the earth by not breeding. As a Westerner, that's like one of the best things you can do. Thank you. Thank you. Well, why don't you just come here and like we can just create a women's community and just all live together in like a pile like cats? When are you going to do that?
We have to get cats too.
Yeah, we have to get cats.
We already have 2.
And I have been bled dry by my own ancestors. Ah, the OMFG heart. I'm just saying, like, let's figure it out. Because we're all going to get old soon, and then we're going to be like, you know, we'll never see each other again, and I'll be sad.
We can Skype.
It's not the same.
You're right.
It's not the same. But anyway, lesbian retirement homes. I would love to have like a tiny home community where we all have tiny homes.
That'd be cool.
Someone were talking about that. I would love to live in some sort of situation like that. That way you have your own little space of privacy. I also would love to like, one idea I had would be to have like to buy an apartment complex and convert it basically into like a women's building.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. With like a community center, library.
Yes.
Like a hall type thing.
Piano.
You know, for events, but all women only, you know.
Into it.
Yeah. I mean, that would be amazing. But
community permaculture
yeah,
garden.
But money. And then you just see like rich assholes like Jeffree Star burning handbags that cost thousands of dollars.
He's gonna kill himself, dude. He's not happy. You're not happy if you're pulling that shit.
It's just so sick.
It is really. You're a sick person.
Sell that bag.
Sell the bag.
Really, or
give it away.
Give it to someone who needs that money. Like, what the fuck? You just burn it. God. So hateful. So it's not just, it's like, it's so contemptuous. It's so contemptuous of the poor. Like that's, ugh.
MD says, I'm working on making money and I plan to save it for women-centered investments and projects.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. By the way, everyone, there are a lot of malls for sale. So if you have a shit ton of money, maybe we could buy a mall and convert it into a women's center.
That would be cool.
That'd be real cool.
We were at the mall this weekend.
We were at the mall. That's a good mall, though. I don't think it's going
I haven't been to that mall in a long time.
I never go there.
Yeah. I used to go there back in the day.
I should go to ice skate.
Yeah, they have an ice skating rink. They've got a Hot Topic.
Oh, we forgot to go to Hot Topic.
We forgot to go to Hot Topic.
We were gonna go to Hot Topic.
And we were gonna share stuff with like Green Party, Rad Femme, all the cool things we found. But we didn't go to Hot Topic. We went to Forever 21.
Forever
21.
And then we went to Barnes and Noble.
Neither of us are 21, but you know,
So
inside
21.
apparently we are.
That's from a Bible verse.
Yeah, is it? What is it?
John 3:16. I don't know. I'll tell you. Hold on. Guys, I just want to like put it out there. I don't always have my Bible like on hand. Okay, this is a rare occurrence, so just want you to know.
You went to visit the Quakers, didn't you? Recently.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, she visited the Quakers.
Oh, this is cool. I didn't know this had this map back here.
Yeah, he wants to show off his wealth, and he wants to show his contempt for people in poverty. That's basically what that is. Yeah, the Quakers were behind a lot of social progress in this country. They had a lot of cool ideas. And also like the Quakers have been pretty supportive of like feminist projects. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, one interesting thing, Susan B. Anthony was a Quaker. That's part of like why she was able to like, that's part of why she had the background and the education she did. Her family educated her. I used to be a missionary.
Did someone say that?
Yeah. What kind of missionary? A Quaker missionary? Do they have missionaries? What were you missionarying about? Jesus?
Okay, wait.
Greenham Common.
Forever 21, their fucking Bible verse is, "This is how we know what love is, Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers."
Oh yeah, we talked about this, right? The evangelicals. I spent some time in an evangelical church when I was a child. I was baptized in the evangelical
Oh, you were
church.
telling me about that. That sounded crazy.
My fucking pastor wore polyester suits, y'all, and his wife had big hair. And they had a prophet come. Yeah, they had a prophet come at one point, and like he was like speaking in tongues. And then my pastor, who never spoke in tongues. I chose to be baptized. Well, I don't know. When I was a child, I wasn't raised religiously by my father. My father was a pagan, which is just interesting because then I, became a pagan later on. But as a child, I went to church. I was encouraged to by some of my like relatives and such. And, it's like a social event. There's kids there. I had friends in the church. I was reading the Bible, doing Bible study. It seemed like a good thing to get involved in, as a child. So I joined this church and I participated in it for a couple years. And basically there was a lot of falling out because of the hypocrisy within the church. And my dad was having a lot of problems because he started volunteering for them as well. He was a bus driver, so he actually ended up driving the church bus, but the pastor expected my father to like pay for like all of the like gas and upkeep of the goddamn bus as a volunteer. My dad was like, no. And then the pastor like gave away my dad's like cooking pot to like a different person.
The fuck?
Like we had a potluck, like churches do. And he just gave it away. And my dad was like, oh, why did you give that away? And the pastor was like, well, they needed it more.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're not having any idea of like what my dad's like real financial situation was, that sort of thing. So, I was baptized. Isn't that horrible? It's okay. I'm going to let you in on a secret. It's all bullshit. All right. Yeah. So anyway, the church was full of drama. It was full of all that crap. But I was involved in an evangelical church. They were incredibly anti-gay. They were incredibly suspicious of all other denominations. Like we shared a building with this nun group, like this group of nuns, Catholics, and they just like there would often be like the pastor would be saying things like that all the nuns were gonna burn in hell and shit like that, even though they're like, yeah, because Catholics aren't really Christians. Don't you know that? They're pagan idolaters. Yeah.
That's why they have all their fucking saints.
Yeah, well, I love the saints, and yeah, I do think Catholics are pagan idolaters. That's why I like Catholics more than like the Protestants. But yeah, so I was involved in a evangelical church when I was a child, and it helped influence me. Oh, one of my first experiences of like a misogyny, like really intense misogyny as a child, was I was having drama with one of the male church members because he kept referring to me as Teresa. My name is Terry. And he refused to call me Terry. And he was like, what did he say? We got into some scraps about it. You know, like I would be like not responding to him. He'd be like, why aren't you responding to me? And I'm like, well, my name's Terry. He's like, oh, I know you want to be called Terry, but your name's actually Teresa. I'm like, no, it's not, dude. This was an adult man, like, who thought he knew what my name was and thought that he should call me that. But legally, my name was Terry. Like my on my birth certificate says Terry. I'm Terry. I'm not Teresa. So anyway, I really took offense to it, and I was just like, I just was like, no, that's not my name. And anyway, later on that night, after having this like back and forth, this went on for a few weeks, by the way, where he would call me Teresa instead of Terry, and there was all this confusion. I was just like, my name is Terry. Call me Terry. Like, just basic weirdo. Human fucking treatment. Call me my fucking name.
Right.
All right. Yeah, the dude told like some of the other adults in the church that I was a bitch.
And how old are you?
8.
Wow. That's really fucked up.
And the misogyny of that church was that he was, you know, he was allowed to have his opinion about like me being a bitch. That was another thing I didn't like about that church. So yeah.
Wow.
Also, a lot of the adults were sleeping together outside of wedlock, and I thought that was sinful.
That is sinful.
No one told him off. They said he shouldn't use that language and that they would talk to me. And I got talked to about respecting elders. Gross. And I was like, he's trying to call me my name. So once another adult explained to him that my name was actually Terry. Yeah, then he started calling me Terry.
Unbelievable.
And this is the other thing. That's another thing. Just like the way in which children, specifically girls, are treated in this culture. Like, unbelievable.
It's true.
Unbelievable. And this was an evangelical church in Alaska. Like, this was just... But this is how a lot of women have it around the country, you know, around the USA, where women are so free. Like, that level of misogyny takes place, is going on. Yeah. No one defended me. I mean, my dad thought that guy was a prick, but he wasn't even there that night. My dad wasn't a Christian, so he didn't really participate in the church other than to support me and what I was interested in. You know what I mean? So, like... Yeah. So crazy. So we eventually left that church because it was just like too much drama.
Really dramatic.
Yeah, super drama. But yeah, the fact that it was the 90s and this pastor was like up there in his brown polyester going like this. God, they're terrible.
I bet something crazy. I bet there was some really gross like sex scandal with him that happened.
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Put it past him. That
there was
happens.
My friend's mother in that church would like, her husband was one of the deacons. Like, I was really close friends with her daughter. Like, and she would just sit around like after church service and would just like create this little circle of all the women. She was kind of like the leader of the women outside of like the preacher's wife or whatever. Like. She would just sit there and like brag about what a good mother she was and all the good mothering techniques she had. And like she would tell all these stories about like all these examples of how her mothering was so great. Like it was just interesting to behold.
It's really like weird.
It was weird. I will say, though, I did do a lot of Bible study with that church. So I want to thank them for having childhood Bible study where we actually read the Bible. So thanks. Yeah. Former President Jimmy Carter and I both left the Southern Baptist Church over homophobia and misogyny. See, my cousins, my aunt and uncle, they got involved in the Southern Baptist Church, and dude, the misogyny in that church is rife as well. Like my uncle actually started participating for a while because of the judgment that the church hierarchy was like giving against his own daughter for basically getting divorced from a guy that was beating her. So,
but that's what's so appealing about it to people is that it's so misogynistic.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, let me get in on that. Cool.
Yeah. Well, women in their place. Nice. Will you stop? Will you stop?
Say hi.
You need to
say hi.
some love.
He's tie.
The Southern Baptist Church condemned their past misogyny. Oh, so are they supporting abortion now? And for racism, it's a start. Right on.
I bet they're not supporting abortion, though. I really like my hair like this.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, I mean,
they're probably anti-women.
Let's talk about misogyny. Like, do women have a right to control, like, whether they become a mother or not?
I get all these suggested videos for all this retarded pro-liar shit now that I, like, watch anti-trans stuff. They're like, they think that they're synonymous. They think that they're one and the same.
That's annoying.
I think I've successfully deterred them because I don't want to see this.
Pro-liar bullshit, God. But
that's, you know what? The pro-liar thing is totally like also fueling adoption.
Yeah.
Because they think that it's these infertile people's right. Whoever wants these kids, their right to have this child. Their right to adopt this child.
I read this story. Well, not story, but it was like this woman on Facebook, like whose husband basically impregnated her, like without, like there was some sort of like he messed around with her birth control, basically.
Fuck, okay.
Yeah. And she's against abortion, so she's going through with it. But that being said, it's like she's been recommended not to get pregnant again. She already has kids, mind you. She's been recommended to not have children, again, by doctors, that it would greatly impact her health and that it would be like really traumatic, on her body. Well, she doesn't believe in abortion, so she's going through with the pregnancy. Of course. She already has gestational diabetes and is going through all this other stuff. And she was asking for advice about what to do about her husband. And it's just like, man.
You don't want to take care of the kids you
Why couldn't you just have a fucking abortion? Why is the stigma for you against that so hard that you would put your own life in danger after your husband basically fucking committed this heinous act against you? Dude, quit with the sentimental bullshit around reproducing. It's ridiculous.
Escaping the endless cycle of suffering in life, reincarnation by enjoying the now, aka Satori, aka enlightenment, is actually about enjoying your life now and not having children. My hot take. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is one overlooked aspect of it, yeah. that is often missed. End the cycle.
Kind of done.
I'm kind of done. I'm kind of wiped. It's been 2.5 hours. I'm sure our viewers are.
I'm wiped.
How are y'all feeling?
I think they're having a ball.
Yeah, they're probably having a great time. Well, we're tired.
We tie, but thanks for watching.
Let's see. What is J Temper saying?
I want food too.
I know. I have a sandwich in my bag. I want to hit up or something. Maybe we figure something else out too. Y'all get some sleep or take a nap.
We love you.
Thanks for coming, y'all. Thanks for having this conversation. I hope you got some good ideas from it.
Feel free to continue in the comments.
Yes. And take care of yourselves.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.